Unit 731 was a secret World War II Japanese unit that performed brutal human experiments, including disease infection, vivisections, and blood-draining tests on prisoners in occupied China. Many members later escaped punishment after the war. A terrifying shot of the approximately 300 teeth on a great white. Human sweat pore seen under a scanning electron microscope. Sweat exits through the pore onto the skin surface, where it evaporates to help cool the body and prevent overheating. Flaking skin cells surround the pore opening. Magnification times 2000. This photograph captures a behind-the-scenes moment from the 1975 film Jaws, showing director Steven Spielberg posing in the mouth of the mechanical shark. The MS World Discoverer was a German cruise ship that hit an obstacle near the Solomon Islands in 2000. The passengers were rescued before the captain grounded the ship to keep it from sinking. In 1905, the Igorot village at Coney Island became a major attraction in America, where Filipino tribespeople were displayed as a public spectacle. Visitors watched staged tribal dances and animal slaughter demonstrations, reflecting the racism and exploitation common during that era. This is a scanning electron micrograph showing a highly magnified view of the human tongue surface. A 2015 moment of cultural pride shows Gali Yalkariwui Guruwiwi attending his granddaughter's graduation at Warrava Aboriginal College in Victoria, Australia. Despite traveling over 3,000 kilometers and being unwell, he joined her ceremony in traditional ceremonial attire and performed a morning star dance, symbolizing strong family support and Aboriginal cultural tradition. A ruby-red illuminated star on the Moscow Kremlin, specifically atop the Spasskaya Tower, originally installed in the 1930s to replace imperial eagle symbols. Made of ruby glass and gold-plated metal, the stars were created as symbols of Soviet power and remain in place today, despite ongoing debate after the Soviet Union's collapse. A scanning electron micrograph showing plant cells with visible chloroplasts. Chloroplasts are the organelles responsible for photosynthesis, where plants convert light into energy. The image highlights their structure within plant tissue at high magnification. A World War II mass execution in Pančevo in April 1941, where 36 Serbian civilians were killed by German forces as retaliation during the Nazi occupation of Yugoslavia. An aerial view of a heart-shaped lake in Oregon surrounded by dense forest. The natural formation creates a distinct heart shape visible from above, making it a popular subject in aerial landscape photography. A scanning electron micrograph showing fungal spores and hyphae of Emericella nidulans, coated with a water-repellent hydrophobin layer. It illustrates mold growth structures that can be linked to indoor air quality issues and potential respiratory allergies. Low-temperature scanning electron microscope images of snowflakes showing highly detailed crystal structures. The snowflakes have a hexagonal form due to water molecule bonding during freezing. The colors are artificial and added for contrast, helping to highlight structure and density analysis. This is a highly popular photograph of a large lizard, widely shared online since at least 2018, often referred to as a splooting Komodo dragon or a black dragon. While frequently captioned as a Komodo dragon, some discussions suggest it might be a melanistic Asian water monitor lizard. The image is frequently cited as real, showcasing the ability of large lizards to sit in unusual, spread-out positions. Some sources jokingly refer to the animal as majestic Maud or a PogChamp dragon. The Creel Mound in West Virginia is an Adena culture burial site built between 250 to 150 BC. Excavations uncovered 13 skeletons arranged in a ritual pattern along with artifacts, indicating its ceremonial burial purpose. A spider from the genus Ancylomydes, a large fishing spider found in Central and South America, is shown preying on an hourglass tree frog. These nocturnal ambush predators typically live near water and can hunt insects, frogs, and even small fish. A photo from the March 1966 Great North Dakota blizzard showing extreme snowdrifts that buried rural infrastructure and reached enormous heights. The storm brought severe winds, near-zero visibility, widespread disruption, and is remembered as one of the deadliest blizzards in the state's history. A 2016 conservation scene in Kenya showing a Kenya Wildlife Service (KWS) ranger guarding a massive ivory stockpile before its public destruction in Nairobi National Park. The event involved burning confiscated ivory and rhino horn to highlight anti-poaching efforts and reject the ivory trade. A view of Setenil de las Bodegas, a historic white village known for houses built beneath massive natural rock overhangs. Streets like Calle Cuevas de la Sombra are covered by cliffs that form natural roofs over the homes. A scanning electron microscope image showing butterfly eggs attached to a raspberry plant. The high magnification view highlights the detailed texture of the eggshells and plant surface, revealing microscopic structures not visible to the naked eye. A scanning electron microscope image of a tungsten light bulb filament showing its coiled wire structure in high magnification. The 500 micrometer scale bar indicates its microscopic scale, highlighting how the coil increases surface area to produce light and heat when current passes through it. A 1927 photograph shows Adolf Hitler wearing traditional Bavarian lederhosen, taken by his photographer Heinrich Hoffmann during his early political rise. The image was later suppressed because Hitler wanted to maintain a more formal and authoritative public image as his political role expanded. A historic 1959 visit shows Fidel Castro at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., where he laid a wreath in honor of Abraham Lincoln shortly after coming to power in Cuba. A 1945 World War II photograph shows Boeing B-29 Superfortress bombers of the 73rd Bomb Wing flying near Mount Fuji during air raids on Japan. These long-range aircraft, operating from Pacific bases, played a key role in the final phase of the war in the Pacific. A colored scanning electron micrograph showing crystallized albumin from a blood clot. Albumin is a major blood plasma protein, and the image highlights its layered, structured formation, with colors added to enhance visual contrast. A 2013 NASA launch photo from the Lady mission shows a small frog accidentally caught in the rocket's exhaust plume during liftoff at the Wallops Flight Facility in Virginia. The image became widely known after NASA confirmed it was real and captured in a single frame. A close-up photo of a pelican with its large beak fully open, showing its expandable throat pouch used for scooping fish and other prey. Pelicans are opportunistic feeders with highly flexible pouches that can hold large amounts of water and food. A 1984 publicity stunt shows a 34-foot fiberglass dinosaur replica being airlifted by helicopter over Boston for the Museum of Science. The model, originally labeled Brontosaurus, now more commonly known as Apatosaurus, was part of a promotional exhibit display. A photo of Eva Schloss, a Holocaust survivor and stepsister of Anne Frank after the war. Born in Vienna in 1929, she later lived in Amsterdam, survived Nazi persecution, and dedicated her life to sharing her experiences and educating others about the Holocaust. A 1945 World War II photograph from the Battle of Okinawa shows U.S. Marine PFC George Chanik briefly pausing beside fallen comrades during the final phase of the Pacific War. The image reflects the heavy casualties of Operation Iceberg, one of the deadliest battles in the Pacific Theater. A 1914 World War I photograph shows French soldiers of the 157th Alpine Rifle Regiment burying fallen comrades in a shell crater in Bouzonville, France. It reflects the harsh realities of early trench warfare, where makeshift battlefield graves were often used during combat. A statue of Ganesha is shown on the rim of Mount Bromo in East Java, Indonesia, a sacred site for the local Tenggerese Hindu community. The volcano is still active, and the statue is believed to offer spiritual protection, with newer versions replacing earlier installations over time. A skull of a young girl from ancient Greece around 300 to 400 BC, discovered in 1999 in a cemetery near Patras. It was buried with a ceramic flower wreath, likely symbolizing myrtle, a plant associated with love and death, and is now displayed in the Archaeological Museum of Patras. A rare image shows 4 color variations of the Bengal tiger, Panthera tigris tigris, the classic orange tiger, a white tiger, a golden tiger with pale amber fur, and an extremely rare near-white variant. These differences are genetic variations within the same species, not separate subspecies. A colored scanning electron micrograph of a foraminiferan, a marine single-celled protist with a multi-chambered calcium carbonate shell. These ancient organisms have a fossil record dating back over 500 million years and show intricate microscopic surface structures. A scanning electron microscope image shows E. coli bacteria on a lettuce leaf stoma, a tiny pore used for gas exchange. The bacteria are seen near the guard cells that regulate the opening, highlighting how microorganisms can persist on fresh produce. A color-enhanced scanning electron micrograph of a cannabis plant surface showing glandular trichomes, which are hair-like structures that produce resin containing compounds such as THC. The image, captured by scientific photographer Ted Kinsman, highlights the plant's microscopic surface features. A cartilaginous skeleton of a stingray, showing its wing-like pectoral fins supported by flexible cartilage rather than bone. This structure allows stingrays to glide smoothly through water and is often preserved for educational or decorative display. A group known as the self-proclaimed Kingdom of Kubala set up a temporary camp near Jedburgh in the Scottish borders, gaining attention for their claims about ancestral land reoccupation. The group later faced evictions, and its leader was deported from the UK in 2026. A colored scanning electron micrograph shows a surgical suture in skin tissue, likely from a dog. The image highlights the detailed texture of the stitching material and surrounding tissue at high magnification. A 1940 wartime photograph from a London hospital shows infants in early protective respirators used during gas drill training. These devices were part of World War II civilian precautions in Britain, reflecting fears of potential chemical attacks and the effort to prepare even hospitals for emergencies. A 1939 photograph shows the public execution of Eugène Weidmann in Versailles, France, the last public guillotine execution in French history. The chaotic crowd reaction afterward led France to ban all future public executions. A 1892 photograph shows the lynching of John and Charles Ruggles in Redding, California. Accused of stagecoach robbery and murder, the brothers were taken from jail by a mob and hanged without trial, reflecting the era's vigilante justice. A 1945 photograph shows the RMS Queen Elizabeth crowded with thousands of American troops returning to New York after World War II. The ship became a symbol of the massive homecoming and relief felt at the end of the war. A photograph of J. Robert Oppenheimer teaching at a chalkboard around 1959 during his time at the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton. Best known as the father of the atomic bomb, he also made major contributions to theoretical physics and nuclear policy. A 1960 photograph by Arnold Newman shows Otto Frank revisiting the secret annex in Amsterdam, where his family hid during World War II. Taken shortly before the Anne Frank House opened as a museum, the image captures a quiet moment of reflection from the sole survivor of the group in hiding. A 1957 Civil Rights-era photograph shows 15-year-old Dorothy Counts walking into Harry Harding High School in North Carolina as one of the first black students to integrate the school. Surrounded by a hostile crowd, the image became a powerful symbol of the struggle against racial segregation in the United States. A World War II photograph shows the devastated town of Saint-Lô in Normandy, France, after heavy Allied bombing in 1944. The image features 2 boys watching American soldiers move through the ruins of a town that was almost completely destroyed during the battle. A Cold War-era image shows mannequins arranged as a family inside a test house at the Nevada test site. Used during U.S. atomic bomb experiments, The scene demonstrated the effects of nuclear blasts on homes and civilians in the mock Doomtown environments. Some on Reddit posted World War II photo of his great-grandfather, Center, with his two best friends. They never made it home. He was the only survivor. April 1941. The image is said to show a teenage Osama bin Laden with his family in Sweden in 1971 during a European trip. However, the identification is unverified and based on online claims. A photo shows a teenage Barack Obama with his basketball team at Punahou School in Hawaii, where he was known as Barry and wore jersey number 23 during his school years.